my name is Steven Johnson, and for the last 12 months I've been critically injured. I had 5 cracked ribs on my left side, a fracture in my thigh going down to my kneecap, and a spinal cord injury. I used to love doing a lot of sports. In high school I was pretty good at sports like soccer and tennis. I started to go to college for a while, but the money started to run dry, so I decided to settle with a community college instead. I started taking all sorts of odd jobs so I could save up and just go to a 2-year program like WITC or something. One particular job I took was roofing, and that's where my injury came from. It was an injury that was pretty much my own fault entirely. I showed up at work and was a little tired because we were starting around 6:30 and just not really in my right mind. My boss Mark, he could tell. He's pretty observant of a lot of things.
My name is Mark Mock, and I'm run M&M Roofing and Siding. My employees are not too bad. I have to keep an eye on them, otherwise they'll be sloughing off, but usually they work pretty good as long as I keep an eye on them. One guy on there, he's 30 years old, his name's Shane, and he acts like he's 18-year-old. He's kind of goofing off, but I just keep him going all the time. He's a hard worker, but he likes to disappear on me once in a while, so I just stay in touch with him, keep him by my side.
He's usually almost never tired and is usually trying to keep other people on their feet paying attention.
I did have a pretty important job that was 3 months coming along, but it was really tough to get her done because I had work in between, but eventually we're gonna get it done.
So we went to work like usual. I always try to be helpful, so I took turns nailing the roof shingles and picking stuff up for everybody. Hammers, nail guns, tiles that had fallen off, tossing colas and cigarettes and stuff like that.
Yeah, Steve, he shows up to work and he seems to stumble a lot, but now he's starting to get more worthless on me. So I thought I might just have to let that guy go before he hurts somebody or shoots himself with a nail gun.
It was late in the afternoon when the job was done. Everyone else except maybe 2 guys and Mark were gone. I was cleaning stuff up and piling it into the trucks.
He seems to like to tip the bottle when I'm turning my back, so he hasn't been turning out like I want him to, so I asked him a couple times to quit, and he says he did, but he sure smells like whiskey when he gets up on the roof. But he's not too bad of a worker, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to let him go or he's going to fall off the roof. And then I'm going to have to pay for his insurance. And if he's not going to do any work like I asked him, then he can get the fuck out of here, I told him. I don't need a guy like that. I don't need drunks on the job. Oh no, he said to me that he would do work, but I can see that he can't. He's too staggery.
I climbed up the ladder onto the roof and was picking up all the spare nails and other things that were there. Just a lot of heavy junk. Both my arms were pretty much completely full. I did this for most of the other jobs we did, so I figured I was pretty good at it. I started to turn my body and position my foot on the ladder step when all of a sudden, it shifts. I'm taken completely by surprise and I try to balance myself, but it was really too late.
I was standing out on the grass and seeing his ass almost falling off the roof. I called out to him, "You dumb fuck."
I lost my footing on the ladder and went falling backwards.
And he hit the ground, and before he hit the ground I told him he was fired.
I landed in the grass, which was pretty lucky because just a few feet over was some concrete.
Yeah, he dumped shingles all over, shit went flying everywhere. The homeowner was standing out there, and that's when I told her, I said, "He don't work for me no more."
It was like my whole world was spinning around from all of the pain.
I sent him, after he fell off the roof, I had to call the meat wagon to come and pick him up. That's the ambulance, so that he could get hauled away. He hurt his back, so I'm assuming he probably hurt his back really bad because he put him on a stretcher.
The fractured ribs made it almost impossible for me to breathe, so I was hooked up to a breathing machine for a while. I still can only take shallow breaths or else it hurts from the bruising. My leg was put in a brace for about 6 months or so because the fracture was still there and it's painful, so I was given a cane for that. It helps me to keep balance while I'm walking. It should be totally fine eventually, but for now I kind of look like an old man. I think it's kind of cool though. The worst of it is that I have some really bad back problems now, which really sucks. Basically, there are some discs in between your spinal column that absorb shocks when you do stuff. Because I had such a big shock hitting the ground, the disc is now protruding out of the spinal column a little bit. It hurts pretty bad and is the cause of a lot of discomfort with my back. I'm taking some medication for it now though, so hopefully it won't get worse. Daily activities are a lot harder. I used to do a lot of running in my spare time, but that's almost impossible now. Jobs that involve heavy lifting are also completely out of the question, at least until everything is mostly back to normal.
Asked for references, I would probably tell the new employees to keep an eye on him and make sure that he doesn't drink no more, and tell him about the incident that happened on my job.
For half a year or so I wasn't able to drive, so I had to rely on other people to drive me places. The worst thing though is looking ahead. You don't really know what to expect, whether things are going to get harder or easier. It's just been a constant scary thought. Making it over these physical barriers and believing that you will get better and life can go back to normal is a challenge. But it was also a really big lesson in my life. I think it was just a big wake-up call that I need to turn my life around and make something of myself. So for now, I'm just trying to stay hopeful and I'm just trying to take charge of my own destiny.
My advice to Steve for going forward in his life is to go to drunk classes and sober up, and if he does that, shows me a certificate, I might hire him back.
Right over there. That's where it all went down. Jeez.
Toute seule, abandonnée, dans ses pensées, elle rêve de lui, toute seule.